Hey, all right. Tonight on the Mac to the Future livecast, we have Steve Wozniak decides to leave Facebook. Display link is crippled. Apple releases a product red phone. And do you think that they could make a Facebook alternative? Tonight, that and more on the Mac to the Future Go livecast. What a great intro. Okay, we are live, and we're actually early this week. And what's more, Warren, it's looking like we are not having any audio problems. What's wrong? There's something isn't right. I don't feel like the world is working the way it's supposed to, unless we have a crap ton of audio issues.
Don't touch anything.
I know. It's like hands off.
Yeah.
Hands off.
Hands off.
Hands off. All right.
Do not touch.
We've got some people already on board. We got Brian Monroe, naturally. Michael Lacey, my old bud from South Florida, and drinker of many Harvey Wallbangers. So they're both here, and there will be, I'm sure, other people as the night goes on. We are not only on Facebook Live, we are also simulcasting. Whoa, over there in the Mac to the Future Facebook group. So if you can watch it there, you can watch it through Facebook Live, you can watch it however you want to watch it and listen to it as we speak and say words. So thank you. How you doing tonight there, Warren?
Tonight I am good. How are you?
I'm outstanding. I got to listen to the end of a program that somebody at your house was watching. Was that like that one, what's his name? The comedian that used to put the glove on his head and blow it up. He got the game show with the briefcases, or is this something else?
That was Howie Mandel. No, this was not Howie Mandel. This was a reality show. My wife seems to watch. She works a lot, so she doesn't like to watch anything that involves a lot of brain power at the end of the day.
Oh, so she should watch this show.
She needs a little brain power, so she watches kind of like the reality shows, but the ones on MTV where they're road rules or survivors type of stuff.
And Naked and Afraid. There's like a ton. What's the one where they're racing all over the world?
That's The Greatest Race.
Yeah, The Greatest Race. I don't watch any of those. I don't know why.
One. Well, I watched a few of them, but
this weekend we're finally warming up. There'll be finally some signs of spring. I believe. I don't know what the weather's going to be like in your neck of the woods, but it's supposed to be like in the 70s here. My wife and I are talking or trying to arrange to get out of town for a couple days. I have got cabin fever. I have got to get out of here. So.
Yep. We're getting the same. We're getting the 75 on Saturday, I think, and
nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Oh, hold on a second. I gotta fix up. There's your name tag. There's my name tag. Somehow or another. Whoops. Trying to fix. There. Yay! Everything is working. Nobody
knew who we were before that.
Now I've got a couple of events coming up in the next few months, and I may miss a few shows because of it. Next month we have a trip to North Carolina for a family reunion, although that'll be over a weekend, so I probably won't miss a show there. In June we're taking a trip out to Boise for my mother-in-law's 90th birthday. July, of course, is you may have heard me mention Macstock once or twice.
That's the first time I'm hearing about this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's this thing.
Okay.
I'll talk more about it later. And of
Sounds
course,
good.
I still want to get a Florida trip in. So there is going to be all kinds of stuff going on, and I may miss a couple of Wednesday nights because of it. We'll see what happens. I do have all of my travel gear, so if I can get someplace that's got like good bandwidth, then we'll be good to go.
Because that's what your wife wants, right? She wants you podcasting in Florida, I'm sure.
Well, she honestly, I mean, I've gone to Florida each time for like over the last 3 years or so. She hasn't gone with me. She's not a big fan of really hot weather. So
Okay.
I
You
go
just
down.
go
I go by
the kids,
myself.
or
I spend some time with.
nice.
Well, last year I went with my son Peter for his 21st birthday. But
Right.
the few years before that, I was just going down and hanging with my nephew, who's got surfboards. So, and he lives in Daytona. So we were just hitting the beach. It was great.
Yeah, why
Loving
not?
it. So, but she's not a big beach person.
No.
I don't know if you heard about this, Warren, but
Oh,
DisplayLink was crippled in the latest update, 10.13.4. And this is third-party software that allows for multiple displays to be used via USB docks. And many of these devices were rendered inoperable upon the release of macOS 10.13.4. Now,
yep.
DisplayLink is not an Apple product, and
Nope.
it is used not only by Mac users but many Windows users as well. DisplayLink is recommending that users of its software not update until a permanent fix is available. They have released a beta version of their next driver, but it only restores partial functionality. Now, with my MacBook Pro, one of the things that I'm trying to do in my mobile kit is connect my iPad, use that as like a second monitor.
Mm-hmm.
And there's software that I got from both the Mac App Store, I can't think what it's called off the top of my head, and the iOS Store that lets me do this.
Yep.
But I can't get
It
it to
doesn't
work.
work. Okay, so I could tell you about that too, because I actually spoke to the company. You're talking about, there's a few of them. One's called Splashtop, one's called Duet, D-U-E-T.
Duet is the one I'm
And
thinking of.
there's a few of them. So I bought it too, and I had the same thing. And Duet was working fine until High Sierra, was it? It might have been High Sierra, because the problem that they're having is when these things tie into I'm looking at the actual thing, but if you go into system preferences, security and privacy, there's a little thing that says this plugin can't run. It's sort of like a plugin for the Mac. And then you could go in there and say run anyways, which we've done kind of like open anyways from the gatekeeper.
Right.
But it's another aspect of it. So in any case, I emailed them, and they emailed me back and said there's this thing with High Sierra with that gatekeeper is preventing their things to talk to each other. It doesn't like it. It kind of works. I'm sure you did it with me, where you could kind of mirror them if you play around with the resolution.
But it kept like bouncing all over the screen.
It doesn't work. So that one doesn't work. Splashtop doesn't work, and there's another one out there that doesn't work too.
So I completely wasted my money.
Until they fix it. So they haven't yet. I've tried another ones. I mean, it's a mess. I've got, kernel panics my machine here and there too, so I just got rid of it.
Kernel panic?
I'm kernel panic. I'm general failure. Kernel panic. Yeah, and the display link that I'm familiar with those. I set a whole bunch of them up for this one place I worked. Yeah, there's just a little box basically that plugs into a USB port and does all that. So that broke. What else? A couple of things broke recently. If anybody's familiar with Jamf Now, JAMF Now, it's a iOS provisioning tool for, they have a Jamf Now, they're not professional ones, but the home user version, Jamf Now, with iOS 10, the latest iOS, when it went to upgrade it, it was bricking the phones, so they had to fix that with the latest update.
Did they send this to you in a private message?
General failure. No, I heard it on I saw it on a Facebook page or a podcast or something like that. And then there was just recently there's an article about people with iPhone 8s and 8 Pluses with replaced screens not at Apple that are getting bricked with the new update as well. So just a lot of fun going on with that kind of
So
stuff.
but that's basically parts that haven't been sanctioned officially by Apple,
Yeah.
though under previous versions of iOS it worked fine.
So 6 months ago or half a year ago, there was a law or something, but somebody important told Apple that you cannot tell repair shops that they can't repair your product, and they had to abide to that. So that went into effect, and I think that all came out because of the Touch ID sensor
Yeah, well,
issue.
that was last year.
That was last year.
That same thing happened with last year.
Right. So they told Apple they can't do that. So now this is breaking with third-party repair shops. And of course, everybody's like, oh, this is Apple's secret way of telling us that we can't go to a third-party repair shop.
Even though it's security related.
Well, that one was, and this one's not. Who knows what this one's just.
Doesn't the screen tie in to the secure enclave that's created in iOS?
I don't think the screen does. The Touch ID sensor has its own chip that ties into the board, maybe.
Yeah, there's something. Okay, well.
Yeah, but in any case, they're bricking and that's it. So there's been just so many revisions of Mac OS and iOS recently. I haven't been doing this as long as you guys in some of this, but I don't remember any major release of iOS or Mac OS going through so many issues and dot releases and betas. It just seems like overboard on it.
This kind of happened as well when they swapped over to Intel, and even before that, when they made the jump to PowerPC from the 68,000 series chips that they were using in the early Macs. Every single time they've made like major changes, there's been a lot of issues, and I think part of the reason why it's not even worse is because of the beta program. So they're seeing a lot of these bugs before they're actually released. Prior to the beta program, all of this would just happen, and then Apple and their various teams would be scrambling to try to fix it, and without a whole lot of data, because they didn't have thousands upon thousands of people beta testing their operating systems before they came out.
But even with the beta, it's like this last release of iOS. I could tell you because I've been playing with the betas. That beta has been out for months, and at some point you're just like, either they're going to release this or not, and then they finally release it and it doesn't have anything even new in it. The things that we were waiting for weren't even in there, such as the iCloud syncing and the AirPlay 2. So it just seems like things are not
running on all cylinders.
Yeah, just kind of issues going on, but I mean, my stuff is fine, so I'm happy. Everything works for me. So
yeah, well, I mean, other than some of this audio and video stuff that I do, I mean, I'm not doing anything that's like super taxing to the machines anymore, especially with this new iMac that I just got.
Yeah,
I still need to figure out whether the problem I was having all those times trying to do this show was related to that cable that I found that was bad. So really what I need to do is take like this camera down to Peter's and plug that all in and see if I can get it to work. So,
think I'll give you back. Will he give you back the Pro?
No. I wouldn't ask for it back.
I'm kidding. I know you're not.
It's more along the lines of just trying to figure out if it was necessary for me to get this iMac. And it doesn't matter. You can have buyer's remorse at any point. But so far this iMac has been great.
No, I mean there's no reason why it wouldn't be. I'm sure it's faster than your Pro. at this point. It's got to be.
Well, it is fast, and and of
Yeah.
course, it's got a nice graphics card in it as compared. Even with the graphics card that the Pro had, which was that GTX 985 4 gig card, and that's a really nice card for that class of machines.
Yep.
The one that's in this one, which is a mobile graphics, chipset, is amazing. It runs everything that I've thrown at it so far. I haven't had
do you have the 4K? Is it the 4K or 5K one? Yeah.
This is the 5K. This is like, I got it refurbed, but this is like the top of the line.
So it's a 5K
iMac.
one.
Yeah, this is the top of the line iMac for this model year.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Buyer's remorses.
It doesn't matter now. Yeah.
But it's going to last you a while, and you could always sell it. Mac values are good.
Yeah, but it's kind of telling. I went on eBay and I was looking at 6 and 12 core 2012 Mac Pros, and it was like, stop it, guy! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't tempt yourself.
2019.
Yeah, we'll see.
Save
we'll
up.
see what happens
Save up
with
now.
that. And
I have no desire for one of those, but I'm sure.
I wonder what chipset it's even going to be on.
Nobody knows, but we're not. Nobody out there should panic over that because everybody seems to panicking. I've seen these posts now of like, somebody posts on another group. Somebody's like, I'm starting to think that I'm going to jump ship in 2019 because Apple's going to. I'm like,
well, then
really?
Go. Then go.
Like, do you think Apple's going to like just, release a crappier Mac? I mean, it's not going to happen. They're going to improve it. It's going to work, and it's they're not dumb. So they're not going to release something that doesn't work.
Well, I mean, I think and we're going off topic here, but that's okay. I think and I talked about this last week with Gaz on the MyMac show. I think the most telling sign that they're not going to do a processor swap for the Mac is the fact that the new Mac Pro is supposed to come out in 2019. What would be the point in coming out with a super expensive machine like that, and then the very next year say, "Oh, sorry, just kidding. We're going to all ARM chips now," and Apple for the Mac is not going to do a hybrid Intel x86 ARM. That's what Microsoft does. Okay, and it didn't work out.
And guys said maybe they would release like my little MacBook as the ARM, and then, but they're not. You're right.
No, you're splitting the OS.
You're not doing that. So it's going to be on one chip, and for all you know, the ARM. But you know what? Maybe they'll release a new Mac Pro running like some super ARM version of something, and who knows?
Maybe that will be the announcement for the Switch.
I'm just saying, don't panic. Nobody panic. Just relax.
Yeah, one way or another, it'll work out.
Yeah, they're not going to come out and say, "Oh, we're switching ARM chips," and you know how it's like normally. And this year's model is 20% faster. This year's model is 20% slower than last year's. Whoa! They're not going.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think back to when they switched over to Intel, it was relatively seamless. I mean, it was, considering that they were going from a RISC-based processor, which is reduced instruction set chipset. That's what the PowerPC chips were.
Yeah.
To x86, which is CISC-based, complex instruction set. The fact that it went as smoothly as it did is astounding. I mean, it was about a year, and they had swapped over the entire line from PowerPC to Intel. It was right. It was done really, really well.
Now, keep in mind, that was during a time where the Mac was pretty much their product. It was their product.
Well, the iPad, not the iPad, the iPods were really big at that point.
Were they?
I think when the iPods were out. I mean, that used to be their biggest source of revenue.
No, but when did they go from RISC to Intel? It had to be before
2005.
Was it that
the first one?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And when the iPod come out, before that, 2000.
2001, 2000,
Mm.
2001. And then
So
iTunes, I think, was a year later.
yeah, I thought the Switch was way before that because I remember
No, it was
being much younger.
2005.
I
And
remember playing with them before they switched over, but
and
it was a long time ago.
the weird thing was, as the rumors started flying around that Apple was going to make this switch, I,
I remember the day now. Now that you say, I remember the day they announced it. Yeah, yeah, cool.
I
Yeah.
basically was like, there is no way that they're going to
Right.
switch from PowerPC to Intel. That's like just giving up. No way. So, the fact that I'm sitting here now and saying, oh, that Apple won't switch to ARM. If they switch into ARM, that's just crazy. The fact that I'm saying that now should not fill anybody with any confidence that it won't happen, because I have been wrong more than I've been right.
There are a lot of very smart people there, so we'll let them take the road on that. So,
and we're just along for the ride.
all right, what do we
Speaking
got?
of writing,
Writing.
Steve Wozniak, the Woz, has decided to stop using Facebook. Now, this is all fallout from the whole Cambridge Analytics brouhaha. As a matter of fact, Mark Zuckerberg testified in front of Congress today here in D.C. and apparently had a something under his chair to kind of boost him up a little bit. I don't know how tall he is, but why would he need a cushion under his chair unless he thought he was going to get like a super ass rating or something from Congress? But I mean, these are guys. We're talking about the House and the Senate of the United States, and these are not the sharpest bulbs when it comes to tech. They really, really don't get it. And there was a Facebook post I saw. It's like it's technician's worst nightmare, having to explain technology to your parents or your grandparents, something along those lines.
I posted that. Yeah,
wow.
That was me.
Oh, was that you? Okay. Yeah, that made me laugh. That really made me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Wozniak goes, I actually have him as a friend or following or something. He posts maybe once every 5 months, so him leaving Facebook doesn't affect anything, I don't think. So he doesn't really use it.
Well, and also he's not deleting. And I'm going to put the link up. Here's the link to the story that.
Yeah, he's not leaving. He's deactivating it for now.
Right, because he doesn't want to lose his. I think he's got a Steve Woz account name, and he doesn't want to lose that. So he's.
If anybody's interested in following him, I can see if I can post it.
Yeah. So, of course, his reasons won't come as a surprise to anyone, as they're related to privacy and Facebook's policy of using their users' data to sell to advertisers and others. And, this has been beaten to death on so many shows that, I mean, it just comes down to how much privacy do you really expect from any of these social services that you're getting for free. Don't put anything on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter or anything that you wouldn't want others to know that you yourself put out, because it's forever and they will use it however they want to. This isn't the first time Facebook has been caught with this stupid crap.
It's not just Facebook, though. I mean, you could put your before Facebook, there was MySpace. Before MySpace, there's forums. There's AOL. There's AOL. There's Reddit. I mean, it's. I mean, if you do a search for people or yourself, you'll see things that go way back past Facebook. It's not just Facebook. And, people ask me, people are asking me the last few days, like, what do you do to protect yourself? I'm like, I'm just not dumb. I know how it works, Yeah. It's, I'm not posting anything about, my financial information where I think somebody could get to that, other than on my bank. I'm not putting my family in danger. I'm not putting my children in danger by any way. Just common sense.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah,
That's really what it comes down to. Don't put anything into any of these services that you don't want not just your friends to know, but everyone to know, including people that you may or may not want to know that stuff. Just don't do it.
So every time you play one of these games or these apps, it always asks you, it says, this developer will get your public profile information, such as this, and that. And that's what happened. So whenever you do that, they're going to get anything that's public anyways. And what did they get? They got your name, I think just your birthday and your name, I think is what they got.
Also, I think email addresses, unless you have your privacy set up to not do that. But maybe. Yeah, just don't be stupid when it comes to these online services, because if you're not paying for it, then you're the product. You're not the customer. You're the product. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked.
Yeah. And
it's not going to change. Even if Facebook shut down tomorrow, whatever replaced it would end up pretty much doing the same thing, because these people don't work for nothing, and you give them no money, so they monetize in other ways.
And it's optional. You don't have to do it. I mean, this is, if you really don't want to do it, then don't do it.
Then don't do it.
We don't cry about it. But with the privacy with Google and Facebook and people, saying that something bad's going to happen to me if I use it, I say, what's going to happen? And I'm waiting. Like, what could actually happen?
Nothing.
So you think
that's not already happening.
Right. So you think of the worst possible scenarios. What could possibly happen? So physical harm to myself or my family or my friends somehow because I posted something about something. Could you get into an argument with somebody online and it turns into that?
What? You can get into arguments with people online?
Are you arguing? Yes. you can meet up with crazy people.
Yeah.
Financial people, financial information. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? So,
don't be stupid. That's really what it comes.
Exactly.
That was from Beverly Hills Cop. Don't be stupid. The guy that had the. Okay, never mind. It's a stupid reference. All right, everybody, we're gonna take a. Yeah.
It was Bronson Peugeot.
Exactly. Oh, good call. Good call. I was trying to remember his name, and then he was in that stupid show, Perfect Strangers, or Perfect. They were cousins or something like. I don't know. Anyway,
Perfect Strangers. Yes.
Let's see if I can. Yeah.
It was Balky.
It was like a poor man's or not as well done Latka from Taxi.
Yeah, it was his cousin Larry. Cousin Larry.
Yeah. Not a good show. It's almost and the guy you don't hear anything about those two guys anymore.
Baca did something. He did Beverly Hills Cop, whatever his name was, and he was in a few things in the 80s, but he's gone.
Yeah, you don't really hear him. It's like do you know what one of Tom Hanks' early roles was?
Yeah, he was in Family Ties.
No, Bosom Buddies.
Before Bosom Buddies, he was in Family Ties.
He was also before Bosom Buddies and before Family Ties, he was in an episode of Taxi.
Was he in Taxi?
Yes, he was. Very, very briefly. He played, oh my God, he played a student at Harvard when Reverend Jim was attending Harvard and before he got all whacked out. But you know what? We are talking about stuff that just doesn't matter. So we're going to take a little break. Everybody hold on. We'll be right back. Are you a new Mac user or an old hand? Wish you could know the ins and outs, keyboard shortcuts, or hidden tips and tricks to make you more efficient using your favorite computer? Hey, it's your lucky day, because Edward Eisen has written a great guide to knowing more about the Mac and the OS that it runs on. It's called This is the Light Side, and it's available through Apple's iBookstore or with Amazon. Better yet, it's not a stuffy old book that gathers dust on the shelf once the next operating system is released, because it's an ebook that you can look at any time you want. It won't get outdated because it's continuously being updated. Information on setting up your new Mac, installing and getting rid of applications, security settings and what to look out for, keyboard shortcuts, some basic app recommendations, how to use Windows on your Mac, if you really want to, that is, advanced topics, searching, using iCloud, and much more. All this for a mere 99 cents. Go to the iBookstore or Amazon and check out Edward Eisen's This is the Light Side. It's the book you want on your virtual shelf. Geez, why is it... Ecamm software, you really, really need to have some way to trigger new stuff that doesn't involve keyboard shortcuts, because they don't always work. I need like a buttons. I need buttons that I can just go, all right, this one and this one and this one. And then I also want transitions. I want fades in between, but...
You need a production crew that you could just point to and say,
okay, bring us in, Johnny.
Yeah.
Come on, Johnny, bring us in. All right.
What do we got?
We got a couple little things here to talk about. This might be a slightly shorter show than usual. Apple releases product Red iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. It's an iPhone, it's red. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Actually, have you gone over to their page and looked at them?
Yeah, I've seen. So, it's people complained about the red version of the 7 Plus, because it was a red back and a white front.
Yeah.
So they changed it. Now it's a red back with the black front, and it looks a lot better. So
why didn't they just do a red front too? Just make the whole phone red. Why not?
It's the bezels, I guess, have to be black. I don't know. Who knows?
You could have had the the 8 doesn't have the what do you call that at the top of the screen that the 10 has?
The camera?
No, the little bumpy. Oh God, I can't think of what they used to call it or what they were calling it. It's
the notch.
The notch. That was it. You could have had like a red notch, but it's because it's the 8 and not the 10. It doesn't matter anyway.
They'll come out. I mean, they'll release a red version of the 10, I think.
Maybe.
2. They're just waiting, but I'm sure they will. Maybe. But it looks like a good phone. The colors.
Well, I mean, it's the same. I mean, it's the same phone as this. It's an 8.
Yeah.
8. Ooh.
So
look at that. If I swing this around this way, there's me, and there's you. I don't know. I'm having so much fun.
You could get red nail polish and paint it red.
Use red nail polish. Oh, yeah. I'm sure that would do wonderful things to your warranty for your phone.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all good.
Okay.
What else?
The last thing I've got for the evening before we talk about other stuff is, could Apple create a Facebook alternative? And this is a story that I found. Let me go ahead and punch this in here. This was a story that I found over in Tech Pinions. I just posted a link to it, and the link is now up there on the screen. And the author of the article says that with so many millions paying for iCloud and other Apple services, that Apple could offer such a service at a minimal cost, and he was saying $1 to $3 per user, and that for the benefit of not having your data scraped by Facebook and Google, that enough people would sign up for it to gain some traction. And yeah,
Nah,
I don't think so. I don't think
nah.
that the only
People,
way it would work would be if it had, and it would have to have a similar familiar interface that people are used to seeing with social networks, not like Ping, not like some of the other attempts that Apple have done to create social networks, because their track record is frankly appalling.
yep.
Apple just
It,
doesn't get social.
so, we talked about it too. First of all, there's a big privacy issue, right? The whole point of a social network is privacy. It involves getting out of your space into other people's space.
Spaces, right?
Learning about each other is basically what social is. Telling people things, telling people things about yourself, hearing about people, learning about it's just all learning about each other. That is the basis of what you're doing. And otherwise, you're just entertaining yourself with pictures, which is basically
Cat
what
pictures.
iCloud photos right now is basically. It's basically Facebook for yourself. Hey, that's me. Hey, look, I'm looking
Hey,
at
wow, look at
myself.
those! Look at all those pictures that I have.
It's me. So the the privacy is just not going to work. It would have to be so. As soon as like you learn something about somebody else on that network, if they ever did, people say, "Oh, I thought Apple was secure and didn't tell. How do I know this person's name?" Yeah, and they're going to
Well,
complain.
in some ways that's true, but in other ways I have to disagree, because number one, it would be it would be a paid service, and even if Apple didn't charge extra for it, because I mean, right now, if you're tied into iCloud, chances are you have a minimum payment of $5 to $10. So if they just kind of rolled a social service in with that, you would have to pay to be part of this social service.
And
And
you know how many people would pay?
well, if I mean, how many people are paying for iCloud now? If it was just
Well,
rolled into iCloud, then every single person that's currently using iCloud would be in for
iCloud,
no extra
yeah,
cost.
right, if it's included. But
Right.
iCloud, people are paying for iCloud for different reasons.
Right.
If
Storage and syncing and
Right.
stuff.
So if Mark Zuckerberg woke up tomorrow and says, you know what, because they talked about this during the hearings, and they asked him, it's like, would you ever consider doing Facebook as a paid service and not doing the advertisements and things like that? And he kind of danced around the question. But as soon as he started, if Facebook woke up, if we woke up tomorrow and then we had to pay $10 a month for Facebook or $5 a month,
It would be a ghost town.
tumbleweeds will go by.
Yeah.
People don't want to pay for it. It's a luxury still at this point.
Right.
And people would not do it. And somebody else would come up with another service that was free.
And then would do the same things that Facebook is doing, because you have
Yeah,
to
exactly.
monetize. All this equipment and all those people cost money.
Yep, and it's I said it before too in another discussion, but these social networks are organic. You can't. There's nobody that's gonna. I could spend billions of dollars and create a new social network and release it, and there's no guarantee that it will take off.
Yeah.
Some guys in a basement could start something just out of fun tomorrow, and it might take off. Like with the kids, who knows? There's no rhyme or reason. It's just what they feel. The kids, we talked about that, is the kids are going to use what their parents aren't using. So,
Right.
so the
Right
new
now, that's
generation-
Snapchat.
Snapchat. So when these kids get older and they're using Snapchat and they start having kids, if that ever happens, then Snapchat will be the old person's
Yeah, my
thing.
grandkids will be going, Snapchat.
Yeah.
Dad uses Snapchat.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, whatever. So, I mean, it's not going to happen. Apple is smarter not to do that. They have some sharing features still with iTunes, which is kind of weird. I've never used it, but you can see other people's playlists in the
well, that was part of that whole ping thing.
They kept it though. That's still there. They revamped it a little bit, but you can still.
Speaking of which, for people that were on Was that last night that I was doing the whole iTunes thing, or was that Monday night?
A couple nights ago, you were doing
Yeah.
that too.
You won't be able to find what I was doing. It worked fine while I was live with it, but as soon as I went off and it tried to save, it saw like all those songs that are copyright. It was like, yeah, we can't save this because it was like, fine, I don't care, it doesn't matter. But that was fun. I had a really good time with that.
But you know, Facebook still has it.
Oh, of course they do. Of course they do. They're not
in their clouds. Did you like the question? Did you the ones
clouds?
There was this one woman that's like, what she says. So Mark, when you delete info off your backups, it's gone forever. And Mark's like, yes, but isn't it still out there in the cloud? And Mark looked at her like she had 5 heads. Like, what cloud are you talking about, lady?
Yeah.
It was painful. It was so
painful. A
painful.
Stupid question.
I actually watched the entire thing. You know,
you did? Oh, that must have been painful to watch.
It was so entertaining. I do IT tech support, so this was like, yes, I get what he's going through. This is horrible, but I love it. I can't turn away. It's like a train wreck. But the question, and then like the old people, the old senators who play on. I use Facebook on this laptop, and you know,
it says Tandy Corporation on the bottom of it. TRS-80. Oh my God.
I saw another thing on the internet that was like the same guy with a question. He's like, I got this AOL CD in the mail that I just opened the other day. Can you help me install it? So they're all asking him tech questions and things. It was a zoo.
Oh my God.
What do you think? Do you think he did well?
I think he did about as well as he possibly could, because the problem with all these kinds of hearings is the people that call them, the senators and congressmen that call them, typically really know nothing about what it is that they're asking. This is FaceTime on the cameras, and yeah, they want to, you know, they smell blood, and they're gonna, you know, jump in with both hands and get their faces on screen because, you know, midterm elections are coming up pretty soon.
Right.
So, you know, it's like, guys, either regulate it or don't regulate it. But get some people in that know what the hell they're talking about, that can explain it to you. And no, calling in Mark Zuckerberg for a couple of hours to speak on national television doesn't constitute research. That's just FaceTime for you. That's just FaceTime for Mark for his latest branch of the Facebook apology tour that he's been doing lately. So yeah, you know, the whole thing was just dumb. And
it was dumb. It was funny.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Before we go, I'm going to talk. I always say talk briefly, but it never ends up that way. About Mac stock. This year, the dates are the 21st and 22nd of July, and it's going to be in Woodstock, Illinois at the Luch Conference Center, which is located in Building B of the main McHenry County College campus. Boy, say that 10 times fast. In Crystal Lake, Illinois, the conference center. This is a beautiful facility. It's got really nice chairs and a terrific sound system. There is not a bad seat in the house. Dr. Mac Bob Levitas is giving the keynote presentation. Tim Robertson from iMac and the Tech Fan Podcast and myself will be doing the iMac game show quiz. We're going to have prizes. We're going to have people, celebrities. Well, by celebrities, of course, we're talking Mac celebrities, to help with the way it's going to work. It's if you guys were there last year and saw it and saw how much fun we had with it, this year the fun is off the scale. It's just going to be a blast. And this is a 2-day event that is typically $249. Will Bill Murray be there? No, Frank, I don't think Bill Murray's going to be there.
But Mark Zuckerberg will.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg, yeah, he might be there.
He's continuing the tour.
Goodwill tour. It's $249 for the entire weekend. That includes both days of the conference, a T-shirt, the Friday night get-together, the Midwest Mac Mingle barbecue, whatever they're calling it, for Saturday night, It's going to be just so much fun. But if you're listening to me, you don't have to pay $249 right now. Now the early bird special that they had, that's for $179. That's done. The price is now $199. However, you don't have to pay that either. We have a coupon code MTTF bonus 10 that if you plug that in checkout will reduce the price $10 to $189. And that is all. There is nothing else that you have to spend as far as the conference goes. Now, of course, any other food and lodging and transportation, that's still on you. But everything else, once you're there, is taken care of. And I believe that they're actually going to have transportation to and from some of the bigger hotels to the conference. So if you can, don't miss this. This is the 4th year that the conference has been on, and it is going to be just a blast. So that's July 21st and 22nd in Woodstock, Illinois, which, yeah, Bill Murray won't be there, but that was where they filmed the outdoor scenes for Groundhog Day. And if you go into downtown Woodstock, you'll see the square and the pavilion and everything that you saw in the movie. And I don't know what else I can say about it. It's going to be so much fun. Be there if you can. Now, Warren, if people wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do it?
Well, unlike the Woz, I'm keeping my Facebook profile active, so I am still there. So if you want to find me, I am on the Facebook. I'm on the Mac to the Future page. I also join in some of the other pages out there.
Sure.
Yeah, that's where you look for me, Warren somebody on Facebook.
Yeah.
How about you?
Sklor Noir.
Noir.
You know what? I haven't played this on this show. Let me see if I can find it. La 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 la. I know I got it here. So here it is.
This is Sklor Noir. You have failed pronouncing my name wrong for the last time.
No, we have not.
Yeah.
We mispronounce your name every single week. If
So
you would like.
Every time I hear that, it just reminds me that I'm getting free stuff to review. So it's all good.
Is it worth it? Is it really worth it?
I got a whole drawer full of that question.
Stuff. If you would like to get a hold of me, you can send me an email through the email client of your choice, guy@mttfgo.com. You can also reach me, guy@mymac.com, probably. Mac Parrot, all one word, over there on the Twitters. And we have a Skype number that only one person in North Carolina seems to know how to use. That number is area code 703-436-9501. Leave a message. Talk to us. Let us know that it's for the Mac to the Future Go livecast, and we will play it here on this show. If you would like to help support me and all the crazy stuff that I do, not just with the Mac to the Future Go, also the My Mac podcast and Guy's Daily Drive that I do 3 times a week or so over there on the Twitters. You can sign up over there on Patreon, patreon.com/MacParrot. I'm also, if you'd like to buy me a coffee, you can go to ko-fi.com/MacParrot and help support me that way. And I would really appreciate it. Of course, you don't have to. I'm good with it either way. I'm going to keep doing it. You pay me enough, maybe I'll stop. So that's something some incentive there to think about. Warren, you got anything else, or are we going to get out of here?
No, I'm good. We're good.
Okay, so everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. I guess, we're right at about 45 minutes. And hopefully we will see you next week on the Mac to the Future Go livecast. Say goodnight, Warren.
Good night, Warren.
Oh,
general failure.
Why isn't it working? General failure. I can't get to the credits. What is going on here? Go to the credits.